Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome, everybody. We're here today on our Friday Review. Thank you so much for joining me. Friday Review, this is our Anything Goes show of the week. Love to be able to start with an update as to what's going on in my private practice, also what's going on in my at least trying to attain high-performance health lifestyle. Also, we'll go over a podcast recap of the week just to see if you missed any of the shows. Hopefully you haven't, but of course, if you have, we'll give you a little bit of context around those. We always do a product review of some type. This one is gaining more popularity in the dieting-based scene. And also, I would say it's a little bit of a biohack because it's a sugar without all of the potential blood glucose raising effects of sugar. So we'll go over that. I want to go over, I always give you a quick tip or a book review of the week. This week's going to be a super quick tip on just maximizing whatever you have for time in terms of exercise. I want to share that with you. And then, of course, 2 research studies, which we bring you every single Friday, that I want to make sure that you're aware of, that you're starting to implement in your life, or, of course, with that of a loved one. So let's get into it right now. Updates for the week. This is where, again, I love to be able to share with you a little bit of the inside scoop as to what's going on in our practice, what I'm doing, again, in terms of high-performance health, trying to live that lifestyle. So for me, a big part of how I look at summertime or warmer weather, all those things, is absolutely getting outside more often. And for me, it's also trying to do more of my cardio outside. So I've been doing a lot more biking over the winter, and I'll be talking about that probably a little bit later on today's show as well. But I really believe that, I know not everybody's able to because of knee pain or ankle pain or lower back, but getting into some type of either brisk walking or jogging, running, it's such a challenge on the body. It really is. There is probably no muscle in the body that is not activated, that is not working while running. Even the upper body or with brisk walking, you're getting that what's called transverse plane motion. Your body's fighting the rotation of the body. You're getting core work. You're getting your legs in. It's helping with the bones and to fight off osteoporosis. And it's also working on probably zone 2 cardio, which is an overlooked aerobic-based zone of cardio that is great for helping to detox, great for moving the lymphatic system, and so much more. So I've been incorporating running. I'm doing a lot of biking. It's really like I have no issues going out for a 30-minute or 40-minute bike, but there is something different about even just running for 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, you feel it in just a much more intense way. So, been adapting that, really enjoying it. Getting to spend some time in Maine, enjoying the beauty of the spring, summer-based season here in Maine, and just, again, getting outside, but it allows me to be active while going outside, and a lot of times I'll be running on various trails as well. And if you've never done a trail running, great to do. You can obviously just walk on trails or do brisk walking. You have to be a little bit more careful with all the different roots and rocks and all those things, but that can also be part of the fun once you start to get into it. So I'll keep you updated on that. All I can say right now is I've been posting on social media, and it is tough getting back into the swing of things. I also like that, though. I like doing hard things. I really do. I like being able to overcome something that I can look back and say, it was not easy to run for 20 minutes straight, at a good pace. But now I'm able to do that. Wow, that must mean that I'm in better shape cardiovascularly from aerobic-based fitness. That's a good thing. I overcame that, right? So it's always like it's just these little things, little challenges you can give yourself over a long enough time horizon. You don't even have to get good at everything within a week, right? It's something that I try to share with my oldest daughter all the time. Just because it's not easy to do the first time you do it doesn't mean it's not worth it. And actually, there's probably more value to it. If I could get up and just run for an hour, no problem, probably wouldn't have as much value. But since running for 20 minutes, right, at a good clip is challenging, well, that must mean I need to get better at it, right? If it's worth it to do. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. What's going on over in the private practice? Well, I wanted to share, this is something big within our practice. And so I want to talk probably about the brand new protocols next week. I'm not going to go over those today. They're game changing, and I want to do it next week. But what I want to share with you is that over the entire industry, so in general, this is one of these little things that you may not know. We, like EquiLife, is beholden to whatever UPS, FedEx, or USPS wants to charge. We have to pay those prices. Like, that's the thing on shipping. And like, even your favorite shippers and vendors, like, it used to be not as big of a deal to give free shipping on all orders over $99. Now, the average cost of shipping is like $10.31 and climbing. And every single holiday season, they do a surcharge, right? Holiday shipping, there's 3 times as many, 4 times as many packages to deliver. So UPS, FedEx, everybody raises their rates. Well, what they've done over the last 3 years is they've never dropped them. And then the next season, they go up again. So our average shipping now, even for like just a couple items, is well over $11. And so when people say like, oh, well, you're offering these labs and it's still $17.95 for shipping and handling, you have to understand is we're paying for the shipping to you, right? We're paying for the shipping to the lab. We're paying for all the component-based pieces. It adds up. I know it sounds crazy, but shipping is so expensive. Here's what we've done though. We've been able to now offer free shipping, still continuing to offer that free shipping over $99, even though it's costing us now over $11 on average. And that doesn't even include like bigger items. So bigger items, it's going to be $20, $30, but we include it. And we've also now offered an upgraded shipping that you probably wouldn't know about if you haven't checked out recently over at EquiLife, is that we've taken it from $14.95, which by the way, is not the true price. It's even more than that, but we subsidize that to get you a better price for upgraded shipping, which means you can get your package now in 2 to 3 days for only $4.95. So now you get the absolute best and fastest upgraded delivery. Instead of $14.95, which you would typically pay, it's for $4.95. So I think that's pretty remarkable. So now you can get all of your items however you'd like to do it, for literally $4.95 if you want to do super fast shipping. If not, completely free. We ship it to you. And I just wanted to share that with you. We are also working with a new company to hopefully be able to ship to Canada for a greatly reduced price. Please don't email in. We will let you know for sure. And we will always let you know about it. I mean, you're welcome to email in, but we just don't have a date, right? So we're working with a specific carrier that will hopefully be able to get packages to Canada at a greatly reduced rate. But just keep in mind, we always charge to the penny whatever we're charged, never a penny more. It's actually automated, the entire service. So hopefully that's helpful. I wanted to share that with you, but also keep in mind, next week I'll be sharing with you brand new Parasite Pro Support Protocol. Brand new mold protocol, brand new heavy metal detox. Can't wait to share all of the details coming up next Friday. Game changer. So stay tuned for that. All right, podcast recap of the week. Got to catch my words here before they come out of my mouth too quick. All right, 2698. That was Monday's show. How to be nicer to yourself. Please, all of us, we need to listen to this show. We really do. And it's advice that I've taken from just the best, I believe, of Eastern-based philosophies and modern cognitive behavioral therapy and neuro-linguistic programming and much more. But it is the thoughts that we think, that we're speaking to ourselves inside of our head, and even thoughts that we say, that we have to learn to change the dialogue. I gave you the 3 steps. All right, Tuesday's show was single versus double insulin spikes after meals. If you think about your blood sugar, if you've used a continuous glucose monitor before, if you've used a glucometer, if you want to be able to tap into more body fat, please check out that show. That was on Tuesday. Wednesday's show was how stress depletes these 5 vitamins and minerals. So if you're highly stressed, you want to add more of those vitamins and minerals. And then yesterday's show, does sauna kill off zombie cells? Definitely check out that show. That was a game changer for looking at overall heat shock proteins, hermetic stressors. Everything is available at stephencabral.com/podcasts. All right, product review of the week is one of these. It seems like it's funny. It's like every year there's like a new sugar that comes out. And this one is called Trehalose or Trehalose, depending on how you like to pronounce it. It's Trehalose. Remember, that suffix OSE means essentially a sugar. just like ASE means an enzyme that breaks down a sugar or at least something close to it. So Trehalose comes, believe it or not, it's derived from insect cocoons, but also could be derived from certain plants, also derived from even sometimes mushrooms. But the difference is between this and a regular sugar molecule is a sugar molecule is typically glucose attached to one ring or one, let's just call it molecule because it's easier to think about that, of fructose. And Trehalose, which is how I prefer to pronounce it instead of the Trehalose, is actually two glucose-based rings, right? So basically, there's called a connected glycosidic linkage. So if we look at sugar, if you're watching this on video, you've got a glucose ring and you've got a fructose ring, and they're locked like this. It's a disaccharide, so it's basically two forms of sugar. That's sucrose, right? That's just regular sugar. Okay, now for Trehalose, you've got two glucose rings attached. That's it. That's the difference. And you might say, okay, no big deal, still sugar. Well, the interesting thing is that they're finding with this specific form of sugar that it is not leading to the same glucose-based response, which is very interesting. It also seems to enable the body to stay in a greater stage of autophagy, which is cellular cleanup, helps break down cancer cells, helps break down bacteria in the body, good for the immune system, etc. And one of the ways, at least that it was initially discovered, is that this particular sugar, also called, by the way, mycose or trehalose, is used by mushrooms. That's how it was initially found, I believe, bacteria, and other invertebrates, even like, I believe, shrimp, to help use it as a source of energy. And so when you're looking at this is a form of sugar that is used more in pure energy, you can see, rather than that glucose-based spike. It also has antioxidant-based, let's say, features to it that would enable it to help to reduce oxidative stress. It may also help with fatty liver disease as well. And again, I always have to give you my disclaimer, not here to provide any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or diagnosis, and may help with healthy brain-based levels as well. So it's not a newer substance, it's naturally occurring. It's just the way that it's being derived now is newer. And so what I would say is just make sure that if you're using Trehalose and you want to experiment a little bit with it, that you are making sure that it is a clean, derived variety that you are getting. And no larger safety issues that I've seen have come up. I'm just not typically an early adopter of a lot of these newer things and newer derivatives. But from what I can see from the research and safety standards, that some people, the people that have the biggest issues with it, might have vomiting or diarrhea or stomach cramping, and it's because they actually are not able to, from a genetic standpoint, break down these specific two linked glucose-based molecules. And so as you're using this, obviously, I can't give you medical advice, but you would start smaller. And you would actually use it and say, okay, how am I reacting? Any stomach issues, any loose stool, any vomiting? Of course, that would mean this is not the right fit for you. In general, we don't want to be adding a lot of processed sugar to our diet, but if you're looking for something and you don't want to use a stevia or a monk fruit and you want to use, more of a sugar-based derivative, you might look at Trehalose as a possible substitute for your typical sugar additive. So something to look at. For me, a little early in the game, I'll stick with raw honey or organic maple syrup, or I'll use my stevia rather than some of these others. But it might be the right fit for you, and I wanted to be able to bring that to you. All right, that is our product review of the week. A quick tip of the week is I want to share with you this, that we're talking a lot about fitness and overall exercise with longevity inside of high performance health. And one of the biggest things that I shared with the group is that there's two main ways to get results from exercise. The main one is specific adaptation to imposed demands. That means each week, you're simply going to add another set, which adds more volume, right? You're going to add more weight, which adds more, your body has to adapt to the increase in weight that you're lifting. Or you are going to, you've got weights, you've got sets, or you have time. That's another as well. And people overlook the time aspect because when they look at volume, they look at the weight lifted and the number of sets completed. But I'll tell you right now, if you didn't change anything else and you added the time under tension to your set, so let's just say this, let's give you a concrete example. You're doing shoulder presses, okay. You're using 15-pound dumbbells. We're just using a basic exercise. Pressing 2 dumbbells over your head, nice and slow, and you're doing 15 pounds, and let's say that you're doing 15 repetitions. Okay, you're not gonna change that. Shoulder press, 15 reps, 15 pounds. Good, let's say that's what you did. Let's say though, that you, instead of doing 1 second up, 1 second down for every rep, which would be 30 seconds total, right? You made that last 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down, and that set lasted for 60 seconds. Your muscles would let you know. You wouldn't have to think about it. Your muscles would let you know how much more tension and intensity there is during that set. And let's say now you did 3 sets of that. So now instead of 90 seconds under tension for those 3 sets, right, 30 seconds a set, you were now under tension for twice as long, 3 minutes. If you didn't change your weights, if you didn't change the number of sets, and you only changed time under intensity, you would get better results, a much better workout. So something to think about, right? Because now you have a factor that you can add in if you don't want to go up in weight, because you might not have more weights, and you don't want to do more than 2 or 3 sets per exercise, change your time under tension. Your results, you will see the difference within 4 weeks. There's no doubt about it. Even if you didn't change any other aspect of your exercise selection, the number of sets you did, or the number of reps. Give it a shot. All right, research studies for the week. We've got our first one, which is this, which is poor sleep is linked to a leading cause of blindness. But before I go into that, I want to share, it's not just blindness, right? It is also your overall vision and eye health. Really important factor to look at that. So let's not just look at blindness. This is by Dr. Bruce, B-R-E-U-S. Daytime sleepiness, insomnia, and snoring are all associated with significantly higher risk of glaucoma, which can lead to vision loss. It's unclear whether the relationship is causal or whether poor sleep leads to glaucoma or vice versa. Other research also supports a connection between vision and sleep. Seek therapy if you have a sleep disorder. Let me just give you where this was out of. This is out of Manhattan Beach, California. It was a study of over 409,000 adults published in BMJ. All right, I've actually met Michael before, so a little shout out there. And what I would say is this. We've seen in our clinical practice that getting less sleep, disjointed sleep, and higher stress during the day can lead to everything from eye floaters to poor vision to eye strain and much more. So what I would say is that I don't believe that glaucoma leads to sleep issues. I believe that sleep issues can lead to glaucoma and other eye-based issues. It is one more reason to continue to dial in your sleep. I can't recommend it enough. 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, uninterrupted, 90 minutes of deep sleep, 2+ hours of REM sleep. I have lots of podcasts just on sleep for free at stevencabral.com/podcast. Scroll through the images at the top. You will be able to find the ones on sleep. All right, love this one. This one is by Dr. Joanne Elmore. And let's see where they practice out of. Professor of Medicine at University of California, Los Angeles. And it was published in JAMA Dermatology. Okay, so these are big journals, right? So here's what I wanted to share with you, is that, and I'm going to give you a synopsis of what was found in the research. If you go for a second opinion, which I believe everyone should, for a major disease diagnosis, okay, whether it's you have to have surgery or treatment plans, etc., what they found was this. If you give the doctor that you're going to for your second opinion the lab results plus the notes and diagnosis from the first doctor, the second doctor is far less likely to give a different opinion than the first doctor when the notes and diagnosis was there. For them, think about it. It's a safer bet, it's an easier bet, and it's also less work to do if they give that same diagnosis. However, if the doctor is not given the notes or diagnosis, but just the labs, you have your best shot at getting a second independent results. They have a specific name for it. They actually called it request a blinded review without information from the initial diagnosis, a blinded review. I've been doing this for years in my own practice because I realized the same thing that they found in this research, 20 years ago is when this research is recent, but in the research that I did. What I do is this. I get from my team, from any new wellness client that I'm seeing, because I do these deep dive reviews, they will send me their doctors or coaches or whoever it might be notes. They'll send me the plan that they're on, and they'll send me the labs. The only thing that I do first is review the labs. That's all that I do. And I build a case around the lab findings. And then after that, and so I share this with other practitioners as well, after that, I read their intake form, which is their story, their symptoms, how they feel, what they've done. I then come up with two conclusions based on the numbers, but also them as a human, right? Their story. And I combine them together. And then only after that I've come up with my own synopsis of what is going on for the true underlying root causes. That is when I then read previous doctors' diagnosis and plans. And I don't change mine, but I like to see if there's another opinion that I also will take into consideration as well. We do the same thing with the whole EquiLife team. They come up with their initial thoughts on any really challenging cases, and then they ask me for a second opinion, and I know nothing about the plan that they've created. I only know a little bit about the client as well as their results. I do believe that's how medicine should be done. I believe that in the future, we're also going to have a third step, which is basing that against artificial intelligence and machine learning over millions and millions of cases. And I think that that is how we get clients and patients the absolute best results. So hopefully this was helpful. I will link up all the research at stevencabral.com/2702, which is today's show notes. Have an amazing weekend. I'll be back, everyone, tomorrow answering our community's questions. Take care. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equi.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquiLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equi.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equi.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.